I will call the April Park Board meeting to order. Is there anyone here who has any comments to the Park Board before we start our formal meeting? Will you do the roll call, please?
Sure. Pat Casanova.
Yep.
Karen Nessett.
Here.
Pam Brokaw. Here. Mike Kennedy.
Here.
Don Buchholz.
Here.
And Tori Boomza is absent, and who else?
First item we have
And Karen
is our
Stankiewicz.
minutes from the last meeting. Has everyone had a chance to see them in their packet? Is there any changes or corrections or omissions that anyone saw?
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. For new business, we've got our boosters here for our agreement with them.
Yeah, so Scott Johnson is here from the Boosters to answer any questions that you might have. So they are requesting to install a sign at Grandview Park. One was blown over in the storm. Was it this last summer's storms or?
It was about 5 years ago.
Okay. The sign basically at the main entrance said, Grandview Park, home of Hudson softball. And so they're requesting to replace that sign with the same wordage, and then also add that same sign in between fields 1 and 4, which is the trail that kind of goes between the playground and the new restroom pavilion, kind of on the backside. And then in addition to that, in your packet, the signs are indicated in yellow. And then they also want to add a flagpole out there to fly an American flag at the main entrance as well. So with that being said, I don't know if I probably stole a majority of your thunder.
You're fine.
But if you have any questions for Scott as far as like maintenance, so on and so forth, feel free to ask him.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. You're
Thank
in.
you.
Thank you, guys. You do a tremendous amount.
Yeah, thank you
You
very
really
much.
do. I mean, it's an amazing task that you guys put on.
We try.
Yeah,
Yep.
and you do it very, very well.
Thank
Oh,
you.
you do it very, very well.
Well, we appreciate you guys working with us too, a lot. So it's a good partnership. So
Well,
thank
thank
you.
I was going to suggest we move up.
Oh, they got one
Oh, we got one
Oh,
more.
we got to go do the other part of yours.
Yeah,
Yep,
Scott's
yep.
here for B as well.
Infield renovations.
Yeah, so after last month's meeting where the park board approved the renovation of the northeast field at Burton Park, I received a phone call from a resident concerned about that decision. His reasoning was it's the only grass infield in the area, whether that's in the city, town of Troy, town of Hudson, and he just thought that it was a shame that we would approve that and make that renovation. So basically what we approved was to remove the grass infield and put it back with infield lime. And the reason being, it becomes a more versatile field. Both the baseball teams and softball teams are able to use that facility for practice, so on and so forth. And so as long as Scott is here, I thought it would be prudent to maybe just have him explain the reasoning why Boosters brought that forward. Maybe explain, that you've discussed it internally between softball and baseball and you're okay with it. But I just wanted to bring it back to the board's attention just to have kind of a final discussion and put some reasoning behind that decision. And if you still want to do that, then we have a chance to make that motion. So.
Yeah, just for fact check on that too. EP Rock has 2 grass infields. The JV field has a grass infield, and the varsity field also has a grass infield. So there's 4 other ones in town that have grass infields. The issue we have with Burton is it's a smaller field because you have the hockey rink out there. So we can really only play up till about 10U, 11U maybe down there. Most of the baseball teams all play their away games on dirt infields, not grass. The only one that has a grass infield at that age that I'm aware of is Woodbury. The other reason we want to skin it is we can open it up then for softball, which all plays on dirt infields. And we can really utilize that at the younger levels at 8U, 10U, and possibly 12U as well. This would mostly be for practice, not necessarily games. We can also open it up for in-house because we are going to lose a field in North Hudson because of the renovation there to the school. That'll be next year we're going to lose that. So we're worried about field space now with losing that field for T-ball, for softball. And we could also utilize it as the T-ball numbers grow for baseball down the road. But mostly, we want to maximize Grandview for games, and we want to maximize Burton for practices and games if we need to down the road here. So that's kind of the reasoning behind that. It's basically just maximizing the field is all we're trying to do. And most of the grass infields, the older levels play on those. So you're talking U14 and up, which we would never do down at Burton because of the dimensions. So that's kind of it on that one.
Anybody have any further questions about it? It doesn't require a motion or anything.
No, if the board wants to stick with the original motion, then no motion needs to be made.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Have a good night.
Yeah, thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Now we can take our two distinguished guests from the Boy Scouts and move them forward.
Did you?
You guys want to?
Okay. What are we doing with the fields?
No motion.
No motion. Okay.
I'm Steve Wilcox. I'm the long and the short of scouting. Hold this time. Sure nice to hear Scott's cleaning up the neighborhood after 47 years next to Burton Field. So in front of you, you've got a packet, and behind your head, Pat, you've got the statue. So if there's any question, there it is, and those are the pictures that support that. What we have recognized is that our diligent effort to make a suitable place for skateboarders to pivot off of when they're jumping off the benches has failed. And so we've decided to take that out, which is the current plaque obelisk that's associated with our statue down there. You can see that in the upper left picture behind the feet of the scout. And then reposition the brand new bronze plaques that are being put together right now in the same size, same dimension, but grind off the facing of the stone base of the statue base and just drill, plant, secure that. Behind what I've affectionately planted is barberries, and somebody would really have to have a death wish to wade into those bushes. Yeah. And we'll even add more if necessary. But those bushes have protected, for the most part, the statue itself. And we would probably add a couple more bushes, as on the left side or the far side, river side of the statue is an intended donor plaque mounting, which would be put on a concrete base on a tube, so a good footing, and right adjoining the boulder. So it's going to be nestled into those bushes at a low height. We are not looking at anything to get above the base of the statue itself. Mm-hmm. So that's essentially it. It's just improvements to there and any landscaping that makes sense once we dig a hole and put the concrete in. So, and Mike, I think when the women's club piece is being poured, that there's a possibility of getting a footing in at that same time.
Okay.
Oh, we were talking about the
Yeah, that makes sense.
memory bench.
Yeah.
If that makes sense?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's about it. Any questions? Can answer?
Can I make a motion?
Please do.
I move to approve this, and as a former scoutmaster, it's close to my heart.
Good one. I was
As a
Faster
former
to
life,
140. Yep.
as a former life scout, I'll second that.
Thank you.
Made Eagle.
Any further discussion?
I have,
Mr. Gwynn?
in the memo, I did talk with Nancy Fowles,
Yeah.
and she's recommended that, and Mike and you and I have talked about this over the years, just having the mulch around the bushes and get rid of the rest of the mulch. She's suggesting river rock, we can talk about that. Because she said every time we get a big rain, because it slants slightly, all of that mulch goes down onto the concrete walkway, roadway along the side. So that
Yeah, we can clean it up.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Yep.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Great, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Right
much.
after it, thank you.
That'll go to the council on the 22nd.
Okay,
22nd.
Yeah.
so
You,
we should,
most likely you
April, 22nd of April.
Yes.
may want to be there.
Yeah.
Maybe one of you would want to be there. Yeah, if possible.
Yeah.
If not, I can carry it too, so. Okay.
And
Okay.
I'll get back to you on the meeting trail.
Okay. Sure.
We talked about, we're still working on that.
That works.
Yep,
Thank
thanks, guys.
you. Thanks so much.
So now we'll move back up to item C, approval of the Hudson Library's proposal to install a solar system walk in Lakefront Park.
Right.
I think that's
He's here.
Chris.
All right.
You're on.
Yeah, so we had a request from the Hudson Library from Chris. And it's something that we have approved in the past, but I still want to bring it back to your attention just to kind of have him explain what the program is and then to have you answer any or ask any questions that you might have of him. So thanks, Chris. Take it away.
well, thank you for having me here. I just wanted to, kind of clarify, this will be the third time that we've installed it, and there's been a little bit of a learning curve on the different installs we've done. So the first one we did was on Dyke Road. The distance was great, but we found out the pitting on some of those sidewalk panels, just from all the hail and the water over the years, the water would get underneath the adhesive graphics, and when we would get a significant kind of rainfall, it would kind of pull the graphics away from the roads. So then we decided we would move to just sidewalk panels starting at Hudson and kind of working its way down to close to like the boat dock area. And that was much more successful. They stick really well to the sidewalk panels, kind of like when there was the I Heart Hudson campaign, some of those. So it's the same type of graphic. They're just a little bit larger than that, and those stayed really well. So the rough dates, we kind of take weather into account when we're doing it, but I believe the time dates were kind of May, beginning of June, when we had them ready to install, and then we'd kind of take them down, like I believe it was like November 1st. So that's kind of depending, when we get a snow and things like that, that's kind of when we'd make the call to kind of deploy and pull them all up.
So does this coincide with I know you have a bunch of NASA exhibits down at the library right now, correct? Or
That exhibit just actually wrapped up
It did, okay.
middle of March and was done. So this was kind of an extension of the popularity of having that solar system walk. And I think it might have been because of the exhibit. We had a lot of families coming saying, when are you doing that solar system walk again?
Sure.
And we're like, oh yeah, we could deploy that again, because we had the Christensen Creative donated the graphics. So we're kind of going through the copy to update some of the images and update some of the text to the most current stuff, but it would be pretty much the same deployment, starting at that walk right in front of the library and then kind of ending closer to the boat dock area.
Great.
Yep.
Any other questions of them about it going in?
No, I think it's a neat
Yeah,
program.
I think it's
I'll
fabulous.
move to approve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll move to
Moved and
approve.
seconded.
Second.
Any further discussion or questions? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Oh, excellent.
Fantastic.
thanks, Chris.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
We should talk to them about doing a henge up on the point.
Oh, yeah.
Doing what?
A henge, like a stone, but,
Yeah.
yeah, but just marking out all the cardinal points that
Yeah.
you can pick up from there. We have, next on our agenda is the agreement for the band shell, I mean, the
Lakefront
Bathhouse?
concessions.
Yep, the
concessionaire.
Yep. Yep. So the two young gentlemen that have ran the concession the last 2 years are no longer with us. Okay.
They're
They
no longer doing it.
they're no longer doing it. Okay. Yeah. No longer doing it. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that correction, Pat. They're no longer doing it, and so they have local gentlemen, reached out to them about taking it over from them, kind of using the same business model, selling the same items. One of the differences is including maybe some paddle sports, some lawn chairs, and maybe some umbrellas, so on and so forth. So we invited him here tonight. We said that we put it on his presentation on the agenda. But staff is recommending approval. I don't see any problems with it. As far as, like I said, pretty much the same setup, same hours. It's great to have someone in there. I know that one of the concerns I had was just having the appropriate aged people in there during business times, right? And he reassured that there would be. So I don't foresee any issues with it, and I'm recommending approval.
And it's closed on Mondays, right?
It is closed on Mondays, yep. But they would be open basically from 11 o'clock to 5 o'clock, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then on the weekends, 11 to 8. I think they will soon find out that on Thursday nights, they probably want to stay open a little longer with all the activity down in the park on Thursday nights. But we'll let them make that decision. But then, like I've said, we've talked about this before. It's always good to have someone in there just to have a set of eyes for vandalism and just kind of have a presence down there. And the kids that ran it before had really good success, I think. And I think people are coming to expect that that's going to be open throughout the summer. And I think if it's run properly, and people can make some money down there. So, yeah.
It seems seamless, so.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And they had a great conversation. I was on a phone call with the previous owners, and then this gentleman here, Roland, and we answered any questions he had, and they were all on the same page, and the kids were really, really good as far as what worked for them, what didn't work for them, so on and so forth. So, yeah, it seems really, really seamless.
Good. And we do benefit greatly from having the eyes down there.
Yeah,
Yep.
You know.
I think it's a great idea. So I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any other questions or concerns?
I have
Go ahead.
I have a question under the what. It says music. What is the music?
That is a good question. I don't
The
know
what?
if you.
I think it just means he'll have music in the background of his, in the stand. I don't think he was.
Yeah, because we don't have any.
We don't have a sound system down.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Right.
Thank you.
Which part were you?
It's
It's on.
it's under like our plans.
Oh,
Why,
okay.
how, what. It says music, games, rentals, food and beverage served from Lakefront Park Beach
Yeah, I
House
think it's
plus
just
mobile
more
cart.
music playing,
Thank you. I just was curious.
Yeah.
Thank you.
With that clarification, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Great. So now I'll relay to them that this will go to council, but if that's approved at council, then they have to go through the process as far as getting their licenses through the county, so on and so forth. So they'll have to tick off all those boxes before they start down there, and they're very well aware of that. So, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Next, we have the approval of the memorial application from the Hudson Home and Garden Club.
Yep, so received an application for the Hudson Home and Garden Club to plant a tree in Lakefront Park, down near the new wharf. And, they would put a small plaque next to it, that says, "A gift from Hudson Home and Garden Club." Staff is recommending approval.
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Yeah, and thank you to them, because we are gonna be losing a couple more ash trees in that area, so this would take the place of that, so thank you very much for,
Doing some more cottonwoods. They grow faster and are great shade.
they grow really fast.
Yeah, that's why they planted them there to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
St.
And they're
Croix
indigenous.
And the Eagles love them.
Yeah.
Gives love them.
St. Croix goes.
The St. Croix, yeah, they grow pretty fast.
Yeah, they do.
White Camp Park, splash pad.
Yeah, so I put this on the agenda. I was, as kind of a placeholder, I was waiting for some information to come back from the company that I met with. They emailed it out this afternoon, so I didn't have time to print it out or anything like that. I was out of town at a training. So what I will say is this will carry over to the next month's meeting, at which time the committee will have a chance to review some of the initial designs. Kind of similar process to a playground where I contacted a company that is part of a purchasing agency where they have, like a state bid, right?
Yeah.
And so we don't have to go through the bidding process because they already kind of did that work on the back end through the state. And so it's the same company, it's an affiliation of the company that we're purchasing the playground through. And so I met with them, kind of gave them our budget, kind of what type of system we want to go with, the location. They came, they walked out the site, they kind of gave a flyer or a magazine. We kind of paged through it and kind of had like, I'm like, well, give us a couple different things to kind of like base our decision off of. So I didn't open it yet. I'm hoping they give us a couple different designs and layouts just to start with, and then we can always change it from there. So, yeah, like I said, it'll be on next month's meeting. The goal is to get something approved, excuse me, sometime this summer, because we have to have a contract in place by the end of 2024 in order to use the ARPA, American Rescue Plan Act funds for this project. So the overall budget that was allocated from City Council for this project is $400,000. And we determined to put it in White Camp Park just based on the current amenities out there, parking, just flow, so on and so forth. So that's kind of the plan right now. Okay? I am going to reach out and see the local sales rep, lives over in the Twin City area. I'm going to invite him to the next month's meeting as well, just in case, you know, I'm sure there's going to be lots of questions about it, and he'll be able to answer some of those right off the top of his head. So we can kind of keep this process moving along, because I'm sure there's going to be some back and forth between the park board and what you like, what you don't like, so on and so forth. So, but just to let you know, it's moving along. Just got a little late in the game, put it on the agenda, so we'll just bump it to the next month's meeting.
Okay. Ready to go on to?
Ready to go on to the
Oh,
next one,
business
unless you have any
development.
questions or anything. Good?
Good.
Okay.
Bella Rose.
Bella Rose. All right, so within your packet, couple updates from last month's meeting. So I was directed to go out and get some fence quotes. I went out and contacted Cyclone Fence. They came out and measured the area. So the quote that's in the issue sheet of $14,750 is to put a perimeter fence around pretty much the entire park. Okay. So that's where that price came from. I did reach back out to the playground company and had him do some amendments to, you know, replacing one of the swings with a bucket seat, adding a balance beam. I double checked about the ADA compliance, which this one is compliant, the design that's in the packet. Okay. And then I also had them, so in the packet, what you see as far as the layout, they didn't give me an updated layout because not much is changing from that other than removing the shade structures and the picnic tables. So those structures are removed from the playground package, and instead what we did is I had them price out an open air shelter, which is found on page 47 of your agenda. It's a wood frame structure with a tin roof, and that would be placed adjacent to the playground area. So
And that's the one that's listed at the 2980.
that's the one
Okay.
listed at the 2980. Yep. So, you know, the whole ball of wax with the fence and the playground, the pour and play surface and the shelter is $192,000 or $192,250. Okay. Take into account that this does not include any concrete work, which we would do in-house. And so our budget for this project is, you know, we have $261,726.71 in the Parkland Trust A, which is north of 94. So we have enough money in there to cover what is going to be expensed. So, having said that, any questions?
I just, is the shelter going to be inside the fence or outside the fence?
Outside.
So the fence, the way that I was directed is the fence is gonna basically go around the entire park.
Okay.
So the shelter would
Oh, it's
be
inside.
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 Everything would be inside the fence.
Okay.
Oh, that's good.
And the
Yep.
concrete is for the shed, right?
The concrete is for the floor of the shelter, and then the sidewalk that goes around the playground. Yep, that keeps that poured in place
Okay.
in place.
Okay.
Do we want to add a second shelter? Since we got the dough?
I don't think so.
Because as the sun moves,
I don't think so.
You know.
take that into account by location.
Or do you foresee other issues coming up north of 94 that we're going to need the dollars for?
I mean, one thing I will say is Grandview Park, the playground at Grandview Park eventually is going to need to be replaced.
Yep.
You know, that's reaching 20-plus years old and is showing its age. We are gonna try to limp it by for a few more years. We have a parent group that's gonna be out there this spring, kind of clean some things up and replace some caps and paint, so on and so forth. But there are some things coming down the road that,
Well, then let's bank it, and
yeah, I would,
if you're confident that what we have now is going to be
Yeah.
a good start, then
yeah.
Well, it's not a particularly big area
Area.
either.
Yeah.
Right.
So 2 shelters might be a bit much there.
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
We'll
So,
see how the first one works and then visit it later.
yeah,
I
you
think that's what
know,
we did-
And that's a
talked
20
about,
by
yeah.
20 area.
right. It's a pocket, you know, it's a neighborhood pocket park. It's meant for the residents of that neighborhood in Bella Rose, for all the people living in the apartment complex to bring their kids down to and just have something close by, right? It's not a huge regional park, so we don't want to, like you said, inundate it with all these things. It's just, let's kind of keep it on the simple side.
What's the exact location of that?
So it's, at the northwest corner of Annabelle and Sophia Lane, right across from Quick Trip to the west. If you're looking at Quick Trip, straight across the road to the west.
Okay, that
Yep.
new area.
Yep.
Do you want a formal motion from us to approve the plan as you're presenting it?
Yes.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Any further discussion or any other questions anyone have? Pam?
So how does the equipment that we're proposing in this park compare, or does it have different types of activities in this part, or is
No,
it?
not necessarily. A lot of it is redundant. You know, you have slides and swings and climbers and balance beams. It's not as large as some of our other parks, right? Like I said, it's more of just like mom and dad get home from work, they want to bring their kid down to the local park and play for a half an hour. When we redo Grandview Park in the near future, that's something where we want to maybe look at doing a playground similar to what we have at White Camp, where it's really expansive, ADA accessible, you know, and Richmond just put one in, where it's more of a regional destination for parties and reunions and that type of thing. So, but yeah, some of the elements at this facility are commonplace for playgrounds.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
yep.
And then will this shelter be able to be reserved? Will this be on the list, or this will not be able to be reserved?
Right off the top of my head, I wouldn't recommend it. It's more of just a first come, first served type facility. Grab a picnic with your, you know,
Because there's no
Family.
restrooms.
yeah, there's no restrooms, there's no running water, you know, there's really no serving space, so it's pretty basic.
Place to get out of the sun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep. Good
So-
questions, though.
2 picnic tables under that, or
Yeah,
just one?
no, I
Okay,
fit 2 picnic tables underneath there.
That'd
Yep,
be good.
And tin roof, you said too,
yeah,
which I think is good.
yeah,
Yeah, better than asphalt, so, yeah.
No maintenance.
right.
So we need to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Wonderful. Project updates. Williams Park restroom?
Yeah, so obviously, council approved the bid from Market and Johnson on that facility. Deb sent out the contracts last week. So we're just waiting to get those signed contracts back, and then once we do, we'll give the notice to proceed. And so hopefully they'll get in here, you know, sometime in May and start that project. So in the meantime, once that project is going on, obviously the current restroom in there won't be available because it'll be torn down. So we'll have to have a porta potty on site just for, we'll probably have to have a couple of them at least until school's out, because I know as the weather starts warming up, a lot of the students from EP Rock or the classes from EP Rock use that site for field trip days, so on and so forth. And you'll have about 80 kids at that site. So we'll have to make a note of that, Deb, to have a couple, 2, 3 at that,
Oh, yeah.
at least for the month of May. But we'll have one there available throughout the summer as the new facility is getting built.
Good,
So,
good.
and then I'll just buzz through them, Pat. Item B, the Lakefront Park Wharf. I would say all of the water work, or all the work that's in the water on the dock itself has been completed. So all the railing is up, the ADA railing for the fishing piers is up. The remaining work for that facility is trail work or concrete work, basically to replace what was torn out during construction. So, yeah, Lunda's gonna be in here. They're gonna be back on site, what'd they say, middle or late next week if the weather cooperates, to kind of get that completed before Memorial Day. So that's kind of the goal, to get it done and complete, and they're out of here, because the contract is, for final completion is June 1st,
Okay.
Okay.
so.
Oh, by the way, you know, down at the boat launch there, he's got that automated credit card
Yep.
set up. There's a guy I've been following on YouTube who did a shanty boat down the St. Croix, Mississippi, and all the way, and he launched in Hudson, And he walked up to it, and it's all on the video. And he goes, "What in the world is this? Never seen one like it." And it was like, what do you do?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Actually, you know, knock on wood, last summer they worked fantastic. I didn't
Yeah.
receive very
Been
many phone,
wonderful.
and it saved Deb and I
Yeah.
100 hours of counting.
You don't miss that, is what you're saying?
No.
Okay, all right, just
That
asking.
was 1 day a week. That's all we did was just count money. So,
Anyhow, the guy
Now, and
figured,
the season passes are working slick too, because it just goes into the system, and it does the same
Great.
thing as our parking. It's been really
Good,
nice.
good.
anyway,
And
the
that's
guy
like
figured
double.
it out.
Good.
And just did it.
Yeah.
But I just think, YouTubers, I mean, this was a plus for the city.
Yeah.
To show how we're moving along.
Yeah.
And the young people, they do everything that way.
yeah. Oh, yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, they tap a card and,
Yeah, if he can figure out how to post a YouTube video, he'll be able to figure out how to use a credit card machine.
But no, the wharf looks great.
Yeah.
Thanks for all the work on that one, Mike.
And then the last item is the Anderson Park Tennis Court. So we went ahead and replaced the tennis net stanchions there. So the old ones were looking a little rough, and like the crank was old and the net was old. So company we hired came in last week and installed the new stanchions. I don't think the new net is up yet. I was just up there a couple days ago on Monday. But they'll come back and reinstall that net, and that facility will be good to go for the summer. So I know we've been getting, when we had that really warm up, about a month ago, we were getting some phone calls on when's the net's gonna go up. So that site does get used quite often.
Yeah.
it does. There's a little bit of a quagmire with that, there's young kids from the apartment buildings up there, and they hang all over and jump on them and hang from them.
Oh,
And
the basketball nets.
And I've had to go over there and say, hey,
Sure.
but I don't know how to remedy something like that.
Yeah, that's tough. Kids are gonna be kids.
Yeah, so,
And no, the basketball standards that we put up that were donated, they are stout. I
they
mean,
really are, and I've got
they-
nothing but good feedback
Yeah.
from
They
the
look
two main
nice.
groups
Yeah.
that are up there. And I let them know that was kind of a reward for their well.
Sure.
And that they should
Take
pick
care.
up.
Yeah.
Not only take care, but when you come to the park, you see things laying around, trash, whatever.
Yeah.
Do it. And they kind of agreed.
Yeah.
And the group was, I went into the center, went time out and stopped them. And they all came around. And I told them what the park board is about and
Yeah.
why this is happening. But nobody spoke English.
Sure. Yeah.
But I spoke their language. And when I was done speaking, a couple of them shyly went, okay, we speak English.
Did they throw you the ball? Did you end up playing
you
with
play
the
it?
ball?
Oh, I did a layup. And
Okay, there you go, and then you left. So that's all I have.
Anybody have anything for future agendas to be brought up?
Move to adjourn.
Is there a second?
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 All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carried. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.